The idea is that no matter where you are, no matter which state you are in, where kind of photography business you're doing, there is a client for you. The problem is we don't know them. The problem is we don't know what they want. And the problem is we don't know how to put what they want into what we do. So this framework that I'm about to share with you is the framework that has built several businesses and turned millions of naira. There are three things inside that framework. I call it the foundational framework. This is the foundational framework that you need to build that thing from where it is to where you want it to be, right? And the other part would be when we get into the Q&A, where you can ask the question that you came here to ask. Did you come with a question? Lots of it. So that part of the conversation will be where you come, take up a mic, ask that question, and I'll try my very best to give you clarity that you need so that when you leave this place, you're not just motivated, you're not just happy and excited because you saw some people, but you have everything needed for you to build your business to where it's supposed to be. So welcome again to Clarity Live. A brief story. I came to Lagos in 2017, October 2017. And after paying for my bus ticket at GIG along Ikotekpene Road in Uyo, for those who don't know, I'm from Akwa Ibom, so I was left with 28,000 naira. So I came to this city with 28,000 naira. This is not to make you feel good or anything, or to make me look like, oh, I've achieved something, but no. I'm trying to tell you what happened. And with that 28,000 naira that I came, for 1 year, I slept on a couch like this in a studio. I was thankful that I could even have a place to sleep. So what I would do is that we used to have clients that come in to make photographs, celebrities and all the likes. So before it's 6 a.m., I'm all dressed up. That means I will have to wake up before people come to the studio, before they even know I slept there. And if we have shoot that goes into the night, like sometimes we have shoots going to like 1 a.m., I'll still be dressed like that till everybody leaves before I can now change and relax and sleep. That happened for 1 year. And after that, but in that 1 year, I learned a whole lot. I was reverse engineering things that were making other people successful. What happened was that I built a portfolio, which is one of the things I will talk about here when it comes to the foundational frameworks, right? I built a portfolio. Nobody hired me. 1 month, 2 months, 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, 1 year. 1 year, 3 months, nobody hired me. But people that know me or knew me at that time, they loved my work. I used to identify as a documentary photographer. You know that identification thing? So I used to identify as a documentary photographer. Nobody hired me for 1 year, 3 months. But in that 1 year, 3 months, people like Bayo, Mobile, they were saying my works were great. I knew the works were great, but it was not translating into money in my pocket. So I knew I was doing something wrong. How can I have the images that people are, it's good, it's good, it's good. Even the masters, the people I used to look up to, they love the work. When they see my personal project, they're like blown away. But nobody's hiring me. That was when I now decided I need to figure out why I'm not making money, why nobody's hiring me. And that journey has brought me all 360 to where I am today, having built, I said earlier now, having built like 3 different businesses in photography. Now I've invested in 2 photography businesses, and I've actually taken a backseat to photographing. That's because the things I'm going to share with you today is what I did that changed whatever I was doing into what made me money. And it's the same thing that I teach people that I coach, same thing I teach people that I mentor, that has changed people's businesses, made people a lot of money. I always want to use a typical example. He should be here. So he's a photographer, Maven Pictures. He's in Warri, Delta State. When he first came, I told him what to do. He didn't think it's possible, right? You know when you have like your beliefs and then somebody's telling you, do this part. He was still inside what he knew. He said, how can I charge ₦1 million or at that time, how can I charge 500,000 naira when I am not doing both photography and videography in a package? He's a wedding photographer. I told him that's not the way to make money. So I built for him a strategy that made him money. Reluctantly, he accepted to try it. Our session started in July, and December, he sent me a message, which I can publish so everybody can see it. He is still in Warri, but between then, July and December, he had made 15 million just doing photography. He did not add anything to it. And this is not someone that is in Lagos. You say, oh, it's Lagos people. Lagos people always pay people money. The idea is that no matter where you are, no matter which state you are in, where kind of photography business you're doing, there is a client for you. The problem is we don't know them. The problem is we don't know what they want. And the problem is we don't know how to put what they want into what we do. So this framework that I'm about to share with you is the framework that has built several businesses and turned millions of naira. There are 3 things inside that framework. I call it the foundational framework. There's a misconception where we always say build a portfolio, right? Anybody has heard that before? What do they say? Build what? And then you do what? Once you finish building a portfolio, what then do they say you should do? You market the portfolio. But do you know that's wrong? Do you know that's wrong? I'm going to show you. So the first framework, let's use this example that you've just said, which is, you said number 1 is what? Portfolio, right? Number 2, you market, right? Then number 3, what? You sell the client, isn't it? If you can hear me, just say yes. Yes. True? Yes. Yeah. Sell. But this is the wrong framework. This is not the right framework. Because how do you build a portfolio for people you don't know? I always tell people that we creative entrepreneurs, we are the only people that finish the product and then we take the product looking for who needs it. Think about it. We will finish the product, which is the portfolio, right? And then we now say, who would need this product? We do here. Every other entrepreneur knows that the first thing you do is to figure out who. But we are always about the what. The first thing you should take out of this, which is the first part of our framework. So this one does not work. So let's try the one that works, right? The first thing you need to do with that framework is who. Then the what. And the third part of that framework is another what. The first part is the who. Who needs it? Who needs what? And let me tell you how to identify who needs it. All the genres of photography, you can make money from it. But the most important element of whether you will make money from it or not is time. What did I say it is? Time. And that time is not the time for the market, it's whether you have time as an individual. So if you want to make money in 1 year, there is a genre of photography you should never attempt. Does that make sense? If you want to make money in 10 years, there is a genre of photography you should be playing at. Let me explain. Before you choose the whole, think about the size of the market. This explains why you see a lot of people always go into weddings, because there is a market already. So the first thing you ask yourself, what is the size of this market? Because you cannot make money without knowing that there are people that can pay for it. I'm not saying making money once. I'm saying making money over and over and over again. So if you have, let's say, 100 people, it simply means that you just have 100 opportunities. But if that market, you know that you have like 500 people, 500,000, 1 million, it means that you have the prospect of actually earning more business from it. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Look at Nigeria. They said the average age in our population, we are younger, more younger, like from 45 down, I think. That's the average age of Nigerians, like the dominant age. So if Nigerian, we are like 200 million, it is possible that people that are 45 years old and below are over 100 million. That means that in the industry like weddings, you know that you have 100 million people who do weddings. So that's why if you want to make money between now and the end of this year, weddings. Remember what I said, time, right? But if you have time and you now say, you know what, Mayor, I want to do wildlife photography. If you want to do wildlife photography, the issue is not whether you will make money today. The issue is there a market? Of course there is a market. So now brings me to one of the things I want you to understand when it comes to market. There's a market section that are problem aware. There's a market section that are solution aware. And there's a market section that are not aware at all. There's no awareness. I'll say it again. There's a market section that are problem aware. There's a market section that are solution aware. And there's a market section that are not aware at all. If you're trying to build in a market where, like photography and weddings, the market is aware, isn't it? Hello? Yes. Is the market not aware that people should hire photographers for weddings? The market is aware. Let's go back to the wildlife photography. Is the market aware? By lift of hand, let's see. Who says the market is aware? A bit. Who says the market is not aware? I mean in Nigeria. Still you. Okay. People say the market are not aware. Headshot business, photography business, is the market aware? What is the market aware of? Is it a problem awareness or a solution awareness? They are solution aware, right? Product photography. Would you say we are aware? Not as much. That means we are not solution aware, we are problem aware. So once you think about market sections in that part, like I mentioned, if you have time, the market that is not aware is the market you become a billionaire if you have time. But if SAPA is holding you here, the market that is not aware is the market that will make you poorer and poorer and poorer. Does that make sense? Because what it takes to win in a market that is not aware is that you're not just a photographer, you are an educator. When I say you're an educator, you're not teaching photography. You're teaching what that thing would do for that industry, why they need it. You're not showing them problems, you're showing them solutions. I grew up with my dad always coming back with mobile calendars, right? I don't know, I'm old, so I don't know, you guys are young people. And they used to have different animals from birds to zebra to lions. Do we still have it today? Do you think that we have a market that can buy that if someone produces it?
It will come with education.
Yes. So you now see what I mean. If you have time, you can start educating people on why that is important. And people like me that used to like that, it's like a memory thing for me. I'll buy it. But if you do not have time to explain things and share the benefits of that market, or that what you're bringing to the market, don't go there. Does that make sense? So most of the time, what we do is that we think about photography. We think about, this is what we love, passion, right? Then we allow the passion to blind us from seeing whether that market is viable. Does that make sense? So you see someone say, I just want to do fashion photography, beauty photography. Let's use beauty, for example. Who does beauty here? Ma'am, maybe no say they take shots at you guys. Okay, 2 people. That's good. So you see people say, I do beauty photography. And they are not even aware of the market. All they know is, or know to be their clients or to be the market are makeup artists. True or true? Do you know people, have you not seen beauty photographers like that? Yeah. All they are building and they are doing is for who? Makeup artists. Is that the market? Does that make sense now? So most people do things not thinking about the market. But when you want to do any part of photography, like I mentioned, think about the market. Think about this market. Are people aware? I'll give you my example of how I figured out that, and I started making money a month later by implementing what I'm going to teach you. As a documentary photographer, I thought to myself, who needs what I do? Are they enough? Because I knew I didn't want to be a photojournalist, do reportage. That's not me. I knew it. I knew I wanted to help nonprofits, right? So I now asked myself, how many nonprofits can I work with? As I'm standing here with you today, I know the amount of nonprofit that pays money in this country. I have them on my database. So I took time and I wrote down every single nonprofit that I know. Google was my friend. Search from Google, went to LinkedIn, now checked out the profile, got their website, and now realized, because on the website is where you know whether they are problem aware or they are solution aware. If you go to a website, let's say like the nonprofit, like I mentioned, and you don't see them update images, you don't see them use images in their outreaches, and they are not professional images, you now know, okay, these ones, this is how I deal with these ones. If you see the ones that are just using stock images, they have a different problem entirely. So what I did was I put them in brackets. These ones, they are solution aware. These ones, they are problem aware. These ones, they are not even aware at all. And I created a spreadsheet. And I had phone numbers. I had email addresses. And I asked myself, which brings us to the last what. I'll leave the middle what now. The last what is value to them? You figure out who is it. I'm using my example as the documentary photographer here. I knew it was non-profit. I now asked myself, what is value to these people? Because if you don't know what value means to the people you're trying to serve, you will not make money. And I can tell you for free here, value is not the photographs that you create.